How's everybody doing on this Friday? Welcome to Adobe XD. I'm your host, Talin Wadsworth. I'm the lead designer for Adobe XD. And hey, everybody, popping up in the chat as the chat's popping on. Mariana, Anel, Howard, I think is up there as well. It's great to see you. I am very excited about this stream. As you know, like I always like to kind of give you a little insight into how we work as the Adobe design team. This is, of course, the Adobe XD team, I should say. This is that show where we give you that insight, maybe preview kind of how we kind of tackle designing new features. And today I thought, I do the thing where every once in a while I come on and we actually design a new feature. And that's always kind of fun. But then I was like, well, we're only a little over a week away from Adobe Max. So what if I actually showed some new features rather than maybe designing a potential new one, actually show you some features that we're going to be, will be available in a little over a week. Give you a little preview, a little taste of that. So that's super exciting. And again, I kind of like changed the game plan like very late. So bear with me. Not much of a plan here. I'm just excited to share some really amazing work from the team. So Osama, Antoine, Froha, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining me. Do you guys know about Adobe XD? Are you guys new to Adobe XD? Of course, let me know. I'm here to answer any questions you have. And while we're just gonna be sort of sharing some new stuff and just kind of riffing on it. Hey, Anupan, great to see you. And just said if you have any questions, just stop me and let me know. Today we're gonna keep it kind of casual, pretty loose, and we're just gonna be sharing some exciting stuff. So. Excellent, Osama. It's great to hear. I'd love to hear what you think so far. Any features you're looking for? And we're going to be, I'm not going to show everything that we're going to be announcing in a little over a week at Adobe Max this year, but I am going to show some new stuff. So, and do you guys know that we just announced that we're going to have some plugins for Adobe XD? Have you guys heard about that? Hey, Matt from Argentina. Mariana, it's great to see. Since the beta version, I myself have been using since the beta version as well. Excellent. Yeah, Howard's right. Yes, have you guys heard about plugins? Next week is gonna be fire, Howard. Again, like I'm like bursting. I want to show you all the things because of course I have them. I've been using them for a while, but yes, do you guys know about our plugins? Do you guys know about that plan? Have you seen, we have this really amazing blog post that's sort of introed from VJ who's on the team, talking about kind of that next frontier for XD. It's really breaking into and integrating with all these other great tools and workflows and actually opening up XD as a development tool for anyone, for maybe you to write your own plugin and to do really cool, amazing things with XD yourself. If you have an idea, you'll now be able to actually create that idea inside of XD. So today, I'm really happy. I am going to show you some of these new plugins that'll be launching in a week and show off some of the new UI around plugins in XD. So what do you guys think about that? That sound like a good plan? Yeah? All right. Howard, it's going to be amazing. Again, like today, I'm actually going to show off, I think, my favorite plugin from my good friend Sarah Stewart and Peck from Impeccable Design. And Neil, they're an engineer. They've been sort of working on this really amazing plugin. I'm super excited to show it off. I'm also going to show off a couple others that are really amazing, doing amazing things with XD. So yeah, sound good? All right, Jason, thanks. I like to share off. I like to share new things. It's been a while since I've been able to sneak something, so I'm super excited to do this today. Fernando, every Friday I am here from 12 to 12:30. Giving you a little insight into how we work as the Adobe XD team. So I'm glad you're here to join us. And Nell, always great to see you in here. All right, so here we are. I am actually using the pre-release build of Adobe XD right now, and here we have a new home screen, a new start screen. This is brand new. Here I am showing off this design. Our team's been working really hard on this. There's a bunch of other things going on here, but this is where we're going to start our journey today, kind of this new look and feel for the Adobe XD home screen. And if you notice up here, underneath this home tab, we have an add-ons section. And this add-on section is where you're going to come to discover kind of the best of the best of sort of plugins, and this is now where the UI kits are going to be, and other integrations. I don't know if you know, like we've also announced a bunch of really amazing integrations. Dropbox, in fact, I just retweeted one from Dropbox the other day. You're now going to be able to actually embed your Dropbox plugins inside of Dropbox Paper. That's pretty cool. So here we are. We're looking at get a little preview of some of the plugins on the way. And of course, the blog post will also kind of show you some more, little preview more of some of the other groups and partners we're working with here. But today, I'm going to show you a couple specific ones. So we also have this new UI also about now managing your plugins. So now up here in XD, there's going to be this plugins section right here. And you'll be able to actually go there and actually see all the plugins that are available from Adobe XD. And these are all the ones that have just been submitted. There'll be a process where you can actually submit your plugin to sort of go through the Adobe process and end up here. But you'll also be able to write your own and actually share your own as well. And people are going to be able to sort of load those into XD on their own as well. But this is kind of the official sort of, pipeline. And so here you'll be able to go and discover a bunch of plugins. All the plugins will be available for XD as of next week. Well, not next week, but on the 15th at Adobe Max. And you'll be able to sort of discover new ones. And here I've actually already installed a bunch of plugins. And again, you'll be able to go here and install and uninstall those. So it's super exciting. And also this is where you'll kick off, if you want to develop your own plugin, this plugins menu is where you'll also be kicking off that workflow. And in a little preview of what's coming in November, I'm actually going to have on our lead engineer on the plugin scene, Mr. Peter Flynn, good friend of mine from the Adobe XD team. He's actually going to come and join me on stream, and we're going to make a plugin live on stream in November. So more to come on this whole section. So if you guys are really interested in learning how to create a plugin for XD, just wait a few weeks, and I'm going to have Peter on, and we're going to do some cool stuff. So so Bahana, the plugins for Windows 10 will launch. This is all launching at Adobe Max on the 15th. So keep an eye out. And yep, so both platforms, as Howard noted, we're gonna have the brand new sort of splash screen and have access to all these plugins. That's kind of another cool thing about the work the team has been doing. As a developer, you'll be able to design, develop your plugin, and you'll be able to publish it through Adobe, and it will automatically be available on both Mac and the Windows platform of XD. So that's pretty exciting. So Fernando, you should definitely tune in when Peter joins me here after Max. We haven't worked out the exact date yet, but I'll let everybody know pretty soon. So that's pretty exciting. So I've got a couple installed here that I'm really excited to talk about today. I mentioned my good friend Sarah Stewart and Pong Peck from Impeccable Design, and Neil, if you're tuning in, I think I just totally missed. I think it's just Neil. I'm not sure. Neil will have to tell me his last name. But the team at Impeccable have been creating this amazing Google Sheets plugin. We're going to run through that. There's also this plugin Color Ranger, which I'm super excited to show off, and also one from one of our international team here at Adobe that I'm excited to show off. So let's dive into it. So I have installed those plugins, and they're now up here in my plugin menu. And Sarah was so kind to sort of share with me a sort of sample file to kind of get me going here. So I'm gonna launch this today. And here we are. I've got this app design here. And it's really just waiting to fill content. And I don't know if you guys ever run into that problem, but when you're designing, you're kind of having to come up with all that content yourself, and maybe you're working with someone else on your team, and they're supposed to be in charge of all, providing all the images and the text and everything, and then you have to check in with them, and then they have to send it over to you, and you've got to kind of manually kind of copy and paste it, into your design as you go, and that just takes a lot of time, right? The management of that is takes a while, and of course in XD we've tried to make that a little easier by letting you kind of drag and drop images, from your desktop directly into your design. You're also able to, drag and drop a text file, right onto things like a text box or a repeat grid and just have that automatically populate. But what if you could connect to a source of data, source of content in the cloud, say like in a Google Sheet? What if you say I was working, this is my design, this is for kind of an Instagram-like sort of posting app. And what if also I'd been working with, maybe I'm working with Sarah, maybe she's my content partner on this one. And here, what she sent me a Google Sheet. And here in the Google Sheet, she's got all the content that I just want to flow right into my design. So you've got the title of all the posts here in for our prototype, kind of the list of usernames, all the dates and everything. Again, if I look at the design here, I have sort of areas for the title, the description, the date. I've got the item for the username here, and I've got my my box here for the thumbnail. And so Sarah, my team has provided me with all this great stuff here. So how do I get it from here into XD? And this is where this amazing plugin comes into play. So here now, using the Google Sheets plugin from Sarah and Peck and the team at Impeccable, I can now actually pull in all that content from that Google Sheet directly into my design. So let's try it out. Let's go and paste the public link. So, also I must mention, they've done a really amazing tutorial here that of course I have it installed now, so I've skipped all of that. But what I can do is go and grab the link to this document. And I can come here and I'm gonna paste the link to that sheet into the plugin. It drops down in this sheet here. And now what you can see is it's actually pulling in all the sort of column titles for the Google Sheet. So here, username and title of post. It's also recognizing the elements from my design. So let me just step back here. I've selected this group here, and this group has, of course, the username, and it has the image, the image thumbnail, it has the title of the post, has a description. So now that I've selected that whole group, and then I go and I run the Google Sheets thing here, I've pasted my link. Now I can map all of those design elements on my canvas to columns of information inside the Google Sheet. So of course Sarah's done a nice job of titling these properly for me. So here I'm going to map the username object on the canvas to that column of data inside of the Google Sheet, right? Make sure those are all lined up here. Critic score mapped to rating, great. The thumbnail is gonna be the image. I don't know if you noticed that, but in the Google Sheet, there's actually a link to the image asset that Sarah has provided very, very kindly for me. So now when I go apply, boom, look at that. It just takes all that content that Sarah has provided for me from that Google Sheet and just flows it right into my design. Look at that. It's like magic. This is like my favorite plugin ever. I don't know if you know much about the history of XD, but my good friend Anirudh and I, who was one of the original engineers with me on XD. Well, I was a designer, he was the engineer. We've wanted this for so long, and Sarah and Peck and Neil just went and did it. They created this plugin for Adobe XD to just go in and pull in this data. Boom, right there now, and we're just getting started. So, all right, hold on to your hats, everybody. Hold on to your hats. Here we go. So I'm gonna undo that, and what I'm gonna do, of course, Sarah here in the Google Sheet, we've got 5 or 6 posts to help us really, really tell the story of our app here. So I'm gonna just multi-select all of these groups, and I'm gonna go and run that again. And now what I can do, what's really handy is that now that the plugin, the URL to the sheet is just in the plugin, I can just go and say refresh content. Oh, look at that. Just flowed right into my design. There it is. All of that data, all the usernames, all the images now flowed right into my design. That saves so much time as a designer. Oh, this is I'm just having so much fun just talking about this and using this today. And Talin, you're gonna ask me, does that work with a repeat grid? And I will say to you, yes, it does. All I did was select that. Now I have this repeat grid over here. I've just repeated out that string of that list item for our feed here, and I went and I ran the plugin again, and it just flowed all in to the app. Not yet, Anel. This is a sneak preview of the plugins feature and a few of the plugins that are coming at Adobe Max on the 15th. So you guys should tune in for the keynote, and of course you'll see this plus a bunch of really amazing features that I can't talk about yet. And on that day after the keynote, all these cool features will be waiting for you. I'm very excited. So you're getting a little preview today of that. There's one other cool little thing in here that I'll show you with the plugin, with Google Sheets plugin. So I'm gonna go back through the workflow here, back to the mapping section of the plugin. And I'm actually gonna click this little button, I don't know if you noticed it before, randomize content. So that's really cool. So now what this is going to do is take all that data from the sheet, and instead of going 1 through 7 here, it's gonna randomize that content in my repeat grid. So let's go back and let's see the results now and apply that. And it has now randomized the order here of our feed. Super cool. This is amazing. Sarah also had, let's go do another one. She also had this, they also had this other cool movie app that had another sheet. Again, so here's my design. I've designed out these elements, and just for a level of difficulty, I'm actually going to go and turn this into a repeat grid real quick. So let's go to repeat grid. I'm gonna drag that out, and I'm gonna drag it like that. All right, so now I'm gonna go in and again, Sarah, being the lovely person that she is, has provided me with the other sheet here, and I'm gonna grab the link to this sheet, and this has, it has the titles of the movies, and it has the release date, and the critic score, and the audience score, and the thumbnails for all the movies. So now I'm gonna go back to my app here, and I'm gonna paste in that URL, and hit continue. Oh, actually, I actually messed this one up, because I think I had the wrong settings on this sheet. Actually, let me show you the other cool thing this one does is actually here on, you can not only load one from a sheet on the web, you can also load it from a CSV file actually on your desktop. So Sarah, of course, has very handily provided me with that. So I'm just going to select that CSV file that's here on my desktop. Right, now I can do all the same thing. I can do all my mapping, and I hit apply, and there it is. So if I go here and we look at CSV, again, Sarah, you can have a local sort of spreadsheet of data, or you can have one on the cloud in Google Sheets, and you can just go and select that, and it just flows it right into your design. So that's pretty handy. Yeah, DEA. Yes, all of these new features will be available on Windows as well. Starting on the 15th, Adobe Max, when all these are announced. The plugins, plus a bunch of other amazing features. I can't wait for you all to see. And you'll be able to download it for Mac and for Windows. That update will be available simultaneously across those platforms. And of course, one of the cool things, and I mentioned this a little while ago, but if you choose and you want to create your own plugin for XD, when you create that plugin will work on either Mac or Windows. The same plugin. You don't have to write a separate plugin for Mac and for Windows. Just have to do it once, bam, published it, shared it with your friends, your team. They can install it, user's choice, Mac or Windows. It's up to you. So yeah. So what do you guys think about that? This is really, I don't know, I'm just in love with this thing. I just want to throw like a bunch of more cool sort of examples at it. Again, I need to create, some detail pages for all of these posts in our original example. So I could just, copy and paste this here. I could select my element. I can go back up to Google Sheets and refresh my content. Again, I've already have the public URL pasted into this document. Again, the plugin actually remembers the URL that's attached to this document now. So now I can just go and create that. Of course, then I would go and wire up all these interactions here. Osama had a question. Let me know. Dushi is processing all this amazing information, this knowledge that I'm just sort of dropping here, showing off this great work from the Google Sheets team at Impeccable. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. What do you think? Is this useful? Are you guys excited to go download this after our keynote at Adobe Max next week? I'm just gonna go and just start prototyping this. And this is just so handy. So Osama has a great question. What if you want to use the same plugin but the other way around, like exporting that the data from here to a sheet? You know what? That sounds like an amazing idea. Maybe for Sarah and Peck here on the Google Sheets plugin, maybe they'd be interested in that feature. Or maybe Osama, maybe you should write that plugin. Or maybe somebody else will. That's what's so exciting, I think, about, we're kind of in a new frontier for XD. Just really opening up to the ideas of the community. Like what kind of thing are you missing in XD? What kind of workflow do you want to create? What kind of amazing thing could you create on top of XD to do, any kinds of workflows? And again, this is alongside, of course, we've announced some big. We've been partnering with apps like Cloud App. If you guys are a user of Cloud App, there's going to be a Cloud App plugin that we're really excited to share with you. Plugins for Trello, just sort of amazing plugins to help kind of extend your work in XD, into all the other tools that you use in your day-to-day work as a designer. And who knows, sky's the limit. I'm sure maybe Howard has a great idea. What are the plugins? You guys have great ideas for plugins? I know probably Howard has a few. And in a couple weeks, I'm going to actually bring on one of our developers, and he and I, Peter Flynn, he and I are going to create a plugin live on the stream. Do one of those kind of acrobatic, can you design it and build it in 30 minutes or less. We've got some cool ideas, so that'll be a few weeks here, but we're going to make something cool. So Nell, we've got some documentation on plugins, and you caught me. I actually don't have that with me, but I will make sure that gets posted out there. I would hate to sort of make a statement that's wrong. I'll have to double check. Again, I'm a designer. Getting in. So this one actually works with Google Sheets. This Google Sheets plugin, but you can also load any CSV file into the plugin as well, and we just kind of showed that off. So if I wanted to, I could go and load a CSV file from my desktop. Let's actually see how this works. So I can choose and kind of get any CSV file, and I can go in and map that. So maybe we turn our sort of like Instagram-like app into a movie app. Be very handy. There we go. Design's not quite right yet, but look at that. I now just sort of mapped a bunch of information from my CSV file I had on the desktop. So if we go look at that, again, there's a column for the movie title, the release date, the critic score, audience score, and the thumbnail. And I just remapped that to my design inside of this kind of Instagram-like app that Sarah's provided for me. And look, and it was that easy. Super exciting. Danilo, I'd love to know what features are you missing? Guides, gradient strokes, different groups. Those are all, you'll be happy to know those are all being worked on right now, and hopefully coming to an update near you. Yes, and go to also our user voice forum, and you can go and suggest those features as well. I believe those are all on there. So you definitely go let your voice be heard there. Yep, so Dushi Howard, thanks for supplying that. Asked if there was a list of all the plugins that we're going to have available. There's the link, guys. You go check it out. So yeah. So Vibav, I'm so sorry if I totally butchered that. Please forgive me. Yes, new stuff coming for prototyping. I can't, unfortunately, share any of it today, but soon. Really amazing, mind-blowing things coming next week at Adobe Max. Let's go check out another plugin that I've got. Let's go, and let's say, this looks like maybe like a material app, material design app. And of course, what if I wanted maybe a dark mode of this material design app? I'd have to, of course, if I was working with the assets panel, I could, add all my global colors, and I could go and tweak those and, one by one and reapply them. And even as fast as XD is in these global asset workflows, it's still kind of a bit of work. So what if there was a plugin that you could use to actually convert your whole design from light mode into a dark mode? Well, that's exactly what the team at Color Ranger has created here. And today I am also showing off the Color Ranger plugin for Adobe XD. So this is super exciting. This one's really cool. So I can take, here I have my sort of light mode, app for this kind of like a Google material design app. And I want a dark mode. So with Color Ranger, I can go up here and select the Color Ranger plugin, and it will, I can now here go and actually retheme this whole artboard, this whole design. And there's a nice little tutorial here. And what's gonna allow me to do is very quickly sort of tweak and recolor my whole design. And you can actually see it doing it here in the background in real time. So this is just sort of using a preset that they have. They have these really handy little presets here. So they have a dark theme and they have a light theme preset. And it just tweaks all those color values and all those styles for your artboard. And I'm just gonna quickly go apply. And there it is. It's taken my design and just quickly created a dark mode of that. And of course, not perfect, but now I can go back and run it again, Color Ranger. And I can go and actually go through and tweak each of these things individually. And you can see it sort of update in real time behind there. So I can change the brightness of that, of the shapes, of the colors of the shapes. And I can change the saturation of those, or maybe even the hue of those colors and those shapes. I like the color depth, right? And I can go and change those same thing for the strokes. Looks like the strokes are a little light, so you can see the strokes updating in the background. I'm gonna bump that brightness down a little bit. Change some of that. I can look at the text as well. The text's a little bright too. Maybe I wanna, maybe it needs to be a little brighter. Right, I can go and change that. You can see it updating. I can also tweak the images, if you notice. We want the images to sort of be brightened up a little bit. Maybe I want to even tweak the saturation here a little bit. And the hue. We want those to be completely there. Now we hit apply. Boom, look at that. We've just rethemed our whole artboard. So this is a really amazing plugin. This is Color Ranger. Super excited. So yeah, that's really cool. And that's that. I really like that one. One more I want to show you, and this is from our international team here at Adobe. And this is a really exciting plugin. So, when you're a global business like Adobe, or you're publishing your app to the Apple App Store, you need to be translating that app, have support for other languages around the world, again, so you can have a big broad set of users rather than focusing on strictly maybe just English speakers. So our international team has created this amazing plugin that they call World Ready, and World Ready will actually translate your content on your artboards and your designs into another language. So we're going to use preview the translate. We're gonna say preview the translate artboard. We're gonna do this into French, and let's run it. So there it is. Now I've taken here's my English version, and now it's translated all of the content into French and create a new artboard for me. So now I can go and test my English version of my prototype alongside the French version of my prototype. And I can also use this to actually also validate the designs. I can see where localization or translation might create an issue for my designs. So this is really handy for me to sort of check and see like, oh, okay, the titles will fit. It doesn't if they're in English or if it's in French. So it looks like I'm good there. So now let's maybe I want to try another language. So let's go run that again. Maybe now I'm going to translate into Japanese. That's actually a really tricky one for designers because the characters take up a much different space. So now let's go and run from English to Japanese. And there it is, right there. And you can choose, again, there'll be different sort of translation services available that you can choose from here with this plugin, with the World Ready plugin. But yeah, this is super exciting. So yeah. So what do you think? There's a little preview of some stuff launching, coming to you, both on Mac and Windows at Adobe Max on October 15th. I'm gonna be down there in LA. Anyone else gonna be down there in LA? Come, make sure you reach out to me on Twitter to say hi, and we'll meet up while we're there at Adobe Max. Tune in for the live keynote. That will be broadcast. Will that be on Adobe Live? Or will that be on the website, Paco? It'll be on Adobe Live here. You can tune in. Yeah, and Behance, where you're at today. Just come back here, check the keynote on October 15th. I think it starts at 9 or 10 a.m. Pacific time. And of course, they're going to announce the plugins plus a bunch of other amazing features. I can't wait for you all to see and use and create amazing work inside of XD with. And those updates will be available immediately after the keynote for both Mac and Windows. And then you can go and download the Google Sheets plugin, the Color Ranger, the World Ready, and maybe even write your own. So thank you guys for joining. Next week, I will not be here because we're preparing for Adobe Max. We'll all be there. Paco, Michael, Lee, Samantha, we'll all be down there streaming live from Adobe Max. In fact, I'll be live right after the keynote. So right after you get your hands on the new updates, I'll be streaming live there from the floor at Adobe Max. So be sure to tune in, catch me live after the keynote. Tune into the keynote, see all the great new features. Thank you all for joining me. And if you guys have any questions, reach out to me on Twitter at Mr. Talin. I'm always happy to see the great work you guys are doing inside of Adobe XD. Thanks, everybody.